Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is AJ Brown, and you're listening to Roster Watch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to Roster Watch.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Watching Rosters with Roster Watch. I am Cody Carpentier, and I'm here every single Sunday, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Central, to answer every question that you have to get you prepared for Week 3 of the fantasy football and NFL draft season. A lot of injuries have come in this week. A lot of injuries have potentially opened up to be questionable and wait until game time, including Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. But it sounds like Malik Willis will end up getting that start today. So we'll see what happens as the noon hour approaches. But again, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. Otherwise, between now and then, I'm just going to start answering my own questions to myself while I'm setting my own lineup, because I'm watching my own rosters right now as I am assisting you in watching yours. So please, like I said, drop a comment in the chat. We'll answer them. We'll get to them. We'll talk about them. But for now, like I said, it's a big Sunday in Week 3 with injuries like AJ Brown, Keenan Allen, Jordan Addison, Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, who are all listed as out right now. I'll be walking you through all of the rankings over at rosterwatch.com. If we do not get to your questions today, please go over to rosterwatch.com. And of course, if you are a pro or premium member, we'll have the Q&A section set up on the page so that any question you ask will be answered by myself, Byron, Trashman, Alex, before the noon hour kicks off. It's a big weekend. Every weekend's a big weekend, but of course it's Week 3, so it already feels like the season is, I don't want to say a fifth of the way over, but it's a fifth of the way over after today, which is like, it's a stupid thing to say, but it's this crazy game that, off season, it's so slow. And then in the season, it's already like the weeks just continue to pile up, and all of a sudden the thing walks right past us. Appreciate you guys jumping in already this morning. We got a couple of questions that have come in at the quarterback position. Derek Carr or Geno Smith for today and for rest of season. This is a very tough one. So yesterday on the SiriusXM radio show, myself and Alex talked about Derek Carr right now and what to think about this whole situation, because none of it is, I don't know if any part of his game right now is sustainable at the same rate for the rest of the season, right? I would say 100% it's not. It's got to regress a little bit. His touchdown percentage is 12.5% right now. In the last couple of years, it's been like 4.1, 4.7. So he's almost 3x his touchdown efficiency. His yards per attempt is north of 11. It's like 3 yards more than it has been the rest of his career. I think he's due to continue to have a good season with Rashid Shaheed, with Chris Olave, with Juwan Johnson, Foster Moreau, whoever's in that tight end room, and of course Alvin Kamara, who doesn't look like he's missed a step. The worry I have is, like you mentioned, you got Geno Smith, you got these other guys that can. What does that regression look like versus everybody else? I still think it's fine. I think you trust Kubiak, the offensive coordinator in New Orleans. I think you trust this team to continue to move forward. So for the rest of the season, I think I'm riding Carr. And for today, just to be transparent with you, we have Derek Carr, 13th overall on the Roster Watch rankings. I have him QB 13. Trashman has him 12. Alex has him 16. He's got a top 10 matchup today against Philadelphia, whereas Geno Smith really – where's Geno Smith? He's one spot behind him, actually. I have him QB 20, but as a consensus, we have him quarterback 15. So right there, back to back. But I just don't feel good. I don't feel nearly as good playing Geno Smith as I do about Carr. Like, it just doesn't have any of that shine on it. And I know, like I said, 30 for 39, 70% completion percentage or 74% completion percentage, and it's just going off at a nuclear rate. It's either you ride with that or you expect it to flop back. And if you ride with it, I mean, you're going to get the output. So from a pocket passer perspective, I think you just ride with Derek Carr and hope that I don't say hope, but like, it's a home game against Philadelphia, and Philadelphia hasn't created any pressure. Their defense is bottom of the league against the run. Like, this is a game that should, again, I don't want to say, behoove New Orleans to end up with another 40-point output, but it's kind of set up that way. Not going to predict that, though. Thank you, Jeremy. Randy says Deontay Johnson or Jalen Waddle. So Deontay Johnson's caught a lot of positivity this week because Andy Dalton. But I'm not quite sure I'm going to be all in. Like I initially moved up Deontay Johnson. I will say he definitely jumped up about 2 tiers in totality of the rankings for me, but he's still going to be below Jalen Waddle. Waddle, I have right now wide receiver 33, Deontay wide receiver 41. Both have middling matchups. Jalen Waddle's is a little bit worse, but I don't believe, first off, that Skylar Thompson is going to be the quarterback throughout the entirety of this game. I do think we end up seeing some Tyler Huntley if he picked up the playbook between last week and this week. When you look at the Carolina situation with Deontay Johnson, the only thing that I'm going to touch in this receiving game in week 3 is Xavier Legette. And I'll touch him. That's a weird sentence. I will utilize him in DFS. In fantasy football, I don't know other than Deontay Johnson. I shouldn't say that. Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, and Jonathan Mingo are all guys that we know can take on A+ targets. We just don't know what Andy Dalton's favorite target is in this situation. And for those reasons, plus the matchup just being it's good. Again, Max Crosby, I think Max Crosby popped up as questionable last night. He's going to play. He's going to create pressure against Andy Dalton in this offensive line. The Raiders are going to be formidable on defense. I think people think that this game is going to be. I think the casts for the Circa Millions came in, and it was like, I think Vegas was like the 5th most or maybe 6th most bet on team this week to win the game, to cover. I struggle with this one because I just don't know if that Deontay Johnson output is there with Andy Dalton or not. I'm afraid that, Thielen's going to get work, that we're going to see them actually run the football because, again, Vegas and the Panthers are both bottom 5 against the run in the entire NFL through the first 2 weeks. So we should see Chuba, we should see Zamir get some action. Like I said, Deontay, Thielen, Mingo, Xavier Legette. The only player in the offense I really want to play at all is going to be Xavier Legette in DFS. So to answer your question in totality, I think you just ride with your guy, Waddle. Good morning, everybody. Appreciate you guys jumping in here. Make sure you click that like button, click subscribe when you do jump in. We're live every single week, at least 4 times a week, doing the Waiver Wire show on Tuesdays. We're doing the Circa Millions on Wednesdays. The Pick'em shows, Underdog Pick'em shows on Saturday nights after the Sirius XM show. So after this, if you didn't get it, you can go over there. We had 16 bets in. Week 1, we were 10-5. Week 2, we were 10-4. So we're 20-9 on the season. And we just gave out 16 barn burners last night of bets over there on Underdog. You do not want to go miss those. So like I said, click that like button, click subscribe, stay tapped into everything Roster Watch. Fresco says George Pickens, Jerry Jeudy, or Jerome Ford in the flex spot. Well, for me, I'm not going to be as high as George Pickens this week, unfortunately. For me, this comes down to Jeudy and to Ford. And for Ford, he got Deonta Foreman back last week. And he had 14 carries out of this backfield. I think Foreman continues. Speaking of props, Foreman prop, I think, was at 41 yards. We took that one higher for Deonta Foreman over there in Underdog. I'm going to use Jerry Jeudy in this one. Jerry Jeudy's everything is flipped for Jerry Jeudy vis-a-vis Amari Cooper in this passing game. And the PFF expected points model has flipped to Jerry Jeudy being the dominant receiver. The target share is similar. Jerry Jeudy looks like the better receiver right now. Looks like he has a better connection. Nobody has a good connection with Deshaun Watson, but Jerry Jeudy looks to have the better connection this week. And again, they're playing against the Giants. So Jeudy, we expect not to be on Deontay Banks, as Deontay Banks should be on Amari Cooper. So I'm going to ride with Jeudy this week. Fresco 1545. Appreciate you. OBJ, great name. Should I flex Rachaad White or Demarcus Robinson? Wow. That's a question. Rachaad White has not looked the most efficient yet this year. And the game this week against Denver is a fine one, but it's not a great one. Demarcus Robinson, on the other hand, there's nobody in this passing game left for the Rams. We're riding with Demarcus Robinson this week. We have him as a consensus at wide receiver 33. I have him as wide receiver 30. It's a top 10 matchup against the San Francisco 49ers. The hope is that he's not going to get a lot of Demarcus Robinson, though he will be playing on the outside because we expect Jordan Whittington to be the guy in the slot. So just know you're probably going to get a little Travarius Ward. So it's going to be it's not going to be quite the explosion you're maybe expecting or maybe hoping could potentially happen, but he will get plenty of output because, again, there's nothing left really in this passing game. And the one thing we do know from being at Rams camp is that they love them some Demarcus Robinson. We did get, I believe it was a 9 for 81 game last year out of Robinson, so I would take that. Randy Miller, Jerome Ford, Cam Akers, Chuba, and Najee. PPR pick 2, please. So we got Ford, Akers, Chuba. Let's see here. A lot of guys here. Ford, Akers, Chuba, and Najee. So for sure Akers. And then the other one I have, I think is going to end up being Ford. Just want to double check. Yeah. So it's going to be Akers and Ford. So Akers, we have a consensus running back 22, Ford running back 25, and then Najee's 29, and Chuba's 33. Chuba surprises me that we're so low on him. Interesting. Yeah, I think I'm Akers Ford here still. Najee's just been so that Pittsburgh offense just irritates the hell out of me. Anyway, I think you're gonna go Ford and Akers here, brother. Best of luck. John at Cedar Park, what's going on, brother? DeAndre Swift or Javonte Williams in a non-PPR league. This is so difficult with Swift this year. This is the matchup of all matchups for Swift to get right, to go nuclear, to rush for 100 yards. We saw him do it in week 3 last year. The problem is that this offensive line stinks for the Bears. The problem is that, like on the other side, you look at it. The Indianapolis Colts have given up 150 yards to the starting running back each of the last 2 weeks. Now for Javonte Williams, he's going up against Tampa. Tampa sounds like will not have Vita Vea. I got to double check that because it looked like he was in at one point and then he was out. Let me pull this up really quickly. Clear filter. Where's Tampa? Vita Vea officially out. Also, Kalijah Kancey out. Yeah, let's go Javonte here. I thought Vita was going to be in, but it's because he had a limited on Friday, but it sounds like he's completely out. So both the defensive tackles are gone. I know they have a strong edge grouping and a couple of pretty good interior guys behind those guys, but there's no Vita Vea. There's no Kalijah Kancey. I'm riding Javonte Williams here. They need to get this thing cooking with Javonte. John Cedar Park, best of luck. Brian Burns. Pick 2. Good group to pick 2 from. Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, and Patrick Mahomes at the quarterback position. It's a good place to be, Brian. Best of luck here, and nice work. Kyler Murray have consensus QB2 this week. Lamar Jackson QB4. Patty Mack QB5. So I don't think you can go wrong here in any way, shape, or form. Kyler's got the 12th best matchup. Lamar 15th. Patrick 6th. I think you ride personal rankings. I have Patrick Mahomes as the 3rd quarterback. So I have him as the highest of this group. And then I have Kyler Murray. So I'm going to tell you Mahomes and Kyler. The consensus rankings would tell you Kyler and Lamar. But I'm going to tell you Kyler and Pat because I think the Kansas City offense shifts back to similar to what old was when they had Tyreek and Kelsey. I think they're going to wake Kelsey up. I think you're going to see more Kelsey early. I think you're going to see a lot of Xavier Worthy. Obviously, a lot of Rashee Rice. I think this offense is going to open up a little bit today against the Atlanta Falcons. So look forward to that. Again, we're going to go Kyler and Mahomes. Matt Cassidy, what's going on, brother? He says, what's up? RosterWatch Nation. We are a nation. Appreciate you, Matt. Full PPR pick 2, JMO, Tank, or King Henry. This King Henry thing, man. I know he had a good week last week, but we need to see 22, 23, 24 carries out of King Henry. We need to see this week against Dallas. And I'm a little worried. We are all pretty low on him, which is weird because seeing a top 5 matchup on the RosterWatch matchup tool for King Henry and then seeing him outside the top 12 at the running back position, it makes you feel some type of way. It makes you feel a little antsy, a little nervous about the old expectation for what Derrick Henry can do, the historicals of what we have seen Derrick Henry do on the field in any given weekend where he just goes for 2 bills and 2 tugs, and you can't do nothing about it because it's just Derrick Henry. But what we've seen from Baltimore so far is that they're not going to run him the right fashion to get that done. So for sure, I'm playing Jameson Williams today against the Arizona Cardinals. And to be honest with you, Tank Dell, He's continuing to sit in kind of the spot he's in. Dalton Schultz is there. Stephon Diggs is going back to Minnesota for the first time since he departed. Nico Collins. They're going to get this running game going, but they're going to be passing a lot. I think you're playing a really difficult game to just force Tank Dell in here again in this situation. If there was, I can understand playing him, but not over JMO and not over the minimum of 16, 17 touches you're going to get out of King Henry. So I got to go JMO here and King Henry. Best of luck, Matt Cassidy. Max, hey, it's my guy. Appreciate you, brother, for jumping in here. What's going on, Ben? How has Akers looked to you from preseason and a few touches he had last week? I'll tell you what, Akers does not look like a guy that tore his Achilles 10 months ago. That's what I believe. Akers does not look like a guy that tore his Achilles 2 months ago. 10 months ago, sorry. 2 months ago. No shit. 10 months ago, he tore his Achilles as a part of the Minnesota Vikings in Atlanta. He does not look like he did that. I believe he's going to be the lead back in this backfield, whether it's 12, 15, 18 touches. It's going to be somewhere in that ballpark. I don't think they're going to lean on the run as much, but they will get that ball outside to those receivers. I think Akers is going to be a fine play today at the running back position. I think overall I have him as like running back 23. So right there, right at the back end of the RB2 area. Ben, great question. Ian's Cats, Mahomes, Jackson, Richardson, Goff. Mahomes, Richardson, Jackson, Goff. Well, I have Mahomes as my, like I said before, QB3. So Mahomes is going to be one of them. Jackson, Richardson, Goff. Jackson, Richardson, Goff. Goff I have as QB5 this week. Richardson, QB6. This Richardson thing is about to kill me. This guy is thrown for 47%, 50% the first 2 weeks. 171 out of 210 of his yards in week 1 came on 3 passes. He threw 3 picks last week, 4 overall. I'm starting to get a little bit worried. In fantasy football, you really don't have to because he has the rushing ability. But you will need to start getting worried if this team continues to lose games, which I do believe unfortunately likely happens. This team does not look like, I don't know what the deal is, to be honest with you. I just don't know what it is. It's a good-ass roster. Like the whole offense, like the offensive line's top 2 in the league. The running game with Taylor and Richardson is one of the best, tandems in the league. The receivers, Pierce, Mitchell, Pittman, Downs. They get Downs back today. I can understand it, but they do have a bottom 4 matchup today against the Chicago Bears. So I'm going to go with Goff and Mahomes here. Best of luck today, Ian's Cats. Max, what do we think of Alec Pierce? Speaking of Indianapolis, I mean, it's hard to ignore what he's done through the first couple of weeks. The big plays are there. Richardson's making the big plays. If you watched Texas last night, Texas football, Arch Manning, who just kept pushing the ball downfield. Obviously, it's entirely different than what Richardson does, but it reminded me of it because it's like it felt like that was the focal point of the game, was Arch threw the ball downfield 40-plus yards multiple times throughout the entire game. Richardson has done that 9 times in week 2. He did it 6 times in week 1. He completed 50% in week 1. He was 2 for 9 on deep balls this last week. Like, he's going to keep on pushing this ball downfield. Pierce is going to end up just being one of the guys. It's either going to be Adonai or it's going to be Pierce, it feels like, or if occasionally you get an Ashton Doolin in there. So I guess if the situation's situational, you can play Alec Pierce on your team, but I can't do it. Jamie Pirog, good morning, brother. Appreciate you. Hope all is going well. I do got to get cooking, though. We got some questions just piling up in here. All right, so KB Reynolds says, London, Deontay Johnson, Najee, or Shakir. I know I have London ahead of Deontay for sure. He's got a good matchup today, not great. Najee and Shakir. Shakir, yep, he's ahead of Shakir, and then Najee is going to be ahead of Deontay. So I'm going to go Najee and London here. Yep, Najee and London. Great question. Again, I'm still a little bit worried about the Carolina thing. I just don't want to go 10 toes deep on a thing like this. This is just a lot of other stuff going on in Carolina. Like, I don't want to touch this thing. I just want to stay away until if he ends up with 10 targets this week, he's going to get a weekly bump overall up for me, but I just can't do it not knowing what the target distribution could potentially be. Thielen still looks like he's got some jump in his step. Mingo, of course, has had, multiple games, 8+ targets. We talked about this whole Carolina Panthers situation, 10 minutes ago. But and Shakir, he's fine. He's fine, but there's no upside there. There's no upside, for Shakir versus London. I don't think there's any upside, and they're definitely not guaranteed as many touches as you are with Najee. So I'm going to go Najee here with London. Best of luck, KB. Jamie Pirog says, start Higgins or Worthy. I'm going Worthy here. I'm not full-fledged into this Higgins thing quite yet. I'm going all in on Worthy for this one. Max, is Jordan Addison droppable? Well, it depends on your league size, depends on your league depth, depends on how many starters you have on your roster. It depends if you have to play 3 receivers every given week. Depends if you have an IR spot. Depends on a lot of things. But I think in totality, it seems like it's getting that point, but I'm just not doing it yet. I'm waiting a couple more weeks to get a little more clarity on what this whole thing looks like, because there was question if he would come back this week. He did not practice all week with an ankle injury. Jalen Naylor looks good. TJ Hawkinson will be back in a couple of weeks. I'm not dropping Jordan Addison, though. This guy's a stud. We know he's a freak, and he's the clear-cut number 2. He's not losing his job to Jalen Naylor just because he's hurt. So I would hold on to him for a couple more weeks. Ian's Cats, start 3. Oh boy, big one here. Wandale, Alec Pierce, Chase Brown, Tank, and Dortch. So let's start first. We're in this situation, we're starting Tank Dell for sure. So we have Greg Dortch, questionable with a hamstring. He was good all week. He popped up on Friday with a limited practice. So for now, with this, the way you have this laid out, so I'm assuming this is PPR. I'm starting Tank and running back. Let me double check on the Chase Brown thing quick. Yeah, I'm playing Chase Brown. I'm playing Tank, and I think I'm playing Pierce. Dortch is right there. Wandale, I get it. He's a target. Just Dortch and Wandale are both guys like this. They could pile up targets in any given game, but you're not going to get any real sustenance. Like, you could get a 10-target game from Wandale Robinson and have 4 catches for like 21 yards and like that. It's 6 fantasy points, whoop-de-doo, but it's not going to give you anywhere near the upside that you're going to get out of those other 3 guys that I named before with Tank, Pierce, and Chase Brown. When I play fantasy football, I play fantasy football for upside, not for 6-point games. So we're going Pierce, Brown, Tank, Dizzy. Anthony. Hey, Cody, I just finished up listening to you and Alex on SiriusXM On Demand. I've been going back and forth on my FanDuel Cash team. Do you like Charbonnet, Deontay Johnson, Chicago's defense, or Akers, Rice, and Green Bay's defense? I personally can't get on board with Charbonnet or Deontay Johnson this week, and I do think Akers gets the majority of the carries, 12, 15, 18, somewhere in that range for the Houston Texans overall touches, and then I'm assuming that's Rashee Rice. So I'm going to go Rashee Rice and Cam Akers here pretty clearly. I like this. I like that grouping much better, Anthony. So best of luck. Like I said, I just can't get on the Charbonnet thing. I know he's gotten the output in the receiving game, and Alex will tell you first, they don't like Kenny McIntosh. Well, they activated George Holani. Like, they obviously, Charbonnet is going to get the work, but I'm not going to say it. It feels like he's like this close to being A.J. Dillon as far as running the football goes. I know he's better in the receiving game, but man, yuck. Justin Joxa, what's up, Cody? Foreman, Mooney, Hopkins, or Warren? Just one in PPR. Just one in PPR, he says he gets. For me, I think it's going to be Foreman. Let me just double check and make sure I don't have Mooney too high up in here. I don't want to lie to you guys straight up. Yeah, it's going to be Foreman for me. I think, like, we saw Foreman last week. Byron would be the first one to tell you. He jumped in our comment. He jumped in our, company chat on last Sunday, and Foreman had 14 carries in that game and looked much more efficient than Jerome Ford did. And he was like, "Why are we so high on Jerome Ford?" And I was like, "Why didn't you tell us not to be?" But what we saw from Foreman week 2, we kind of got to believe in it. You kind of got to take it for what it is. This offensive line is slowly getting healthier. I think in this situation, you take Foreman, you take those 10-plus carries, you take the possibility of a rushing touchdown, which you always have with a guy like Deontay Foreman, because he's the guy that's going to get a lot of those goal line carries. So, Justin, I'm going Deontay Foreman, as pukey as it may feel or sound, to bench a Hopkins or Jalen Warren. Jimmy Pirog, full PBR start 2, Higgins, Pittman, or Jaden Reed. Well, I think number one on this list for sure for me is Jaden Reed. I know he's a top 25 play in my book. I had him as wide receiver 23. T. Higgins, I have slightly behind him at wide receiver 31. And then you brought up Pittman. Pittman is attached to, of course, Anthony Richardson, who I brought it up just 3 minutes ago, how nervous I am about this passing attack, the lack of passing attack. But we're going to go Reed and we're going to go Higgins here. Reed and Higgins. You drafted Higgins, or you have Higgins to play him against the worst pass defense in football, which is the Washington Commanders. So first game back for Higgins. If he plays, you play him, because what we learned about the Devon Achane thing, what we've learned over the past couple of years is if these guys play, if they've been injured, if they play, you play, because it's just the way it is, man. They're going to get that work. And T. Higgins has the ability to go have 3 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown any given week that he plays, and attached to Joe Burrow. It's going to regress all these tight ends. You've seen all this tight end output in Cincinnati with Mike Gesicki and Drew Sample and Eric All and all these donks, and all of those targets are going to go straight to T. Higgins. So I like T here and Jaden Reed. Best of luck, Jamie. Fresco, Jalen Naylor or Javonte Williams. Give me Jalen Naylor every single day of the week this week. Randy Miller, thank you, brother. CKAC says Aaron Jones or Cam Akers this week, half PPR. Aaron Jones for me. Aaron Jones. PPR Robbins or Ford. Robbins. Dobbins. I'm assuming that's Dobbins. Yes, D is right next to the R on the old keypad there. We're going to go Dobbins or Ford. We got to go Dobbins. I can't go against Dobbins, what he's shown us the first couple of weeks. Can't do it. And of course, Ford, like I just mentioned a minute ago, with Foreman now in the backfield. Appreciate you and the whole Roster Watch crew, Matt Cassidy says. Well, appreciate you. And if you guys all appreciate it, go over to rosterwatch.com today. Alex, Trashman, and Byron are over there in the live Q&A comment section chat. They do have this over at RosterWatch. If you go to rosterwatch.com, you become a pro or premium member, we have a whole page dedicated to answering these questions. You can just write it up. Hey, guys, this is my situation. Start PPR, blah, 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 blah. And we will write back an answer to you every single time. We don't miss any of them. And they're also probably all 100% right every single time. Maybe. But anyways, we love you. We appreciate you guys. Click that like button, click subscribe. And like I said, head on over to rosterwatch.com if you got a minute. Ben Moore, I have Kyron, Josh Jacobs, and Zach Charbonnet. Full PPR, who would you bench? Sadly, I'm leaning Kyron because 49ers defense. What do you think? I'm benching Zach Charbonnet. I'm benching Zach Charbonnet because I don't think he's #great at football. Kyron Williams, this is the thing here. This is the only reason I'm going to do this and say this, is you can't bench Kyron Williams against the Niners, even though it's a daunting task, because there's nothing left on the Rams offense. You can't bench Kyron Williams and be like, well, Cooper Kupp's not playing, Puka's not playing. Might as well just not play Kyron. Like, Kyron's the best talent on the offense now. So they're going to make, like, you have to trust that McVay is going to utilize Kyron in a way that he potentially is the one that, motions out in his playing slot, motions out and is playing wide, gets a couple more targets in that area. So in PPR, you're going to get a couple more points. Or they run the football a certain way outside, try to run away from Nick Bosa, run the opposite direction, things of this nature. I do think that Sean McVay is going to be a little creative. So I'm going to just completely fade Zach Charbonnet this week, it sounds like. Cordy plays Ferguson or Kincaid. I got Ferguson one spot ahead, so I'm going to ride with old Jake Ferguson. As a consensus, though, I do think we're one spot ahead. We talked about this one on SiriusXM yesterday because I think Trashman has Kincaid significantly higher than Ferguson. But they're literally back-to-back. Alex and I both have Ferguson higher. Ian's Cats. Drop Jalen Wright for Carson Steele. Half-point PPR. Both are just bench. I'm not ready to do that. I don't think Carson Steele is going to get some astronomical workload, whereas we've already seen injuries pile up in Miami, and Jalen Wright is just on the brink. I mean, Jalen Wright's explosive. He's a great athlete. He's a guy that we know can one-for-one Mostert, one-for-one Achane. Carson Steele can't one-for-one anybody. If we're just being completely honest with ourselves, he's a really good dude, really good running back, but he's just not. When we're talking about fantasy football perspective, he's just not that guy. He's just not that guy. He might end up with a rushing touchdown, but as far as expecting 13 for 85 and a touchdown, like, miss me with that. Keep right. Jennings, Deontay Johnson, or Judy? I'm assuming this is Juwan Jennings, with the San Francisco 49ers. I can't do Deontay. I just can't do it. I'm looking at my rankings right now, and I'm just staying true to it, man. I got him at wide receiver 41. I'm 7-8 spots lower than Trashman and Alex. They have him at 33 and 34. I'm the one booing this, but also when you look at the model has him as wide receiver 49 because he hasn't done anything. But I understand that the quarterback comes into that conversation. Juwan Jennings and Judy, for me, it's pretty clearly Judy this week. I know Jennings has a good matchup with the Rams, but to me, it's pretty clearly Judy. James Tucker, best of luck, brother. Appreciate you tapping in here. Godwin or Rice, PPR, many 69 says, for me, this is clear-cut Godwin. I think Godwin's going to get absolutely annihilated with targets. Rice is really good. I think he's a top 10, top 15 option as well, but Godwin and Rice are back-to-back for me, and I'm just going to lean Godwin. I think he's going to get absolutely peppered as Mike Evans deals with Pat Surtain. You can't go wrong really either way with this one, though. PPR from Bialy, Jamo Pollard or Jaden Reed. Jamo Pollard or Jaden Reed. For me this week, honestly, this is going to be a Pollard thing for me. Reed's got a fine matchup. Jamo's got a big game against Arizona, but Tony Pollard has told you he's the best running back in this backfield. He's the one that's going to get the 70-30 between him and Spears. Spears isn't they said 50-50. 50-50 what? This isn't a 50-50 backfield at all. And Tony Pollard's been efficient enough, averaging 4.4 yards per carry, that Tony Pollard is in a whole entire different tier. For me this week, he's running back 20 overall. He's got a top 10 matchup against the Packers. I'm taking Tony in the touches. J Bonds, 33. PPR pick 1, Dobbins, Ford, or Worthy. Give me Worthy. Jonas, greetings from Germany. I'm banged up with injuries. Puka, Pacheco. Who do I start in my PPR flex? Jordan Whittington or Keon Coleman? I'm leading Whittington in the slot. You are correct, Jonas. You are going with Jordan Whittington in the slot. I like Keon Coleman. I like Keon Coleman a lot, but Jordan Whittington in this situation, they put his prop north of 40. I thought it was going to be I should pull this. I should probably pull it up just off a hand here because it was one that Alex found. We're working on a new tool at RosterWatch. It's going to be a hammer. It's going to be a hammer. So Jordan Whittington was 31.5. I shouldn't have said north of 40. 31.5 receiving yards for Jordan Whittington over on Underdog. I thought this number was going to be 22.5, 23.5, but it feels like it's a little bit higher for a guy that hasn't done anything to this point in his career, and he's a rookie, but I get that he's in this Cooper Kupp role. So the book is kind of making a move saying that they believe this is going to happen or that they know something. I do think Whittington is a great play. I'm trying to pull up live real time if his number has moved at all. Probably not great radio, but the answer to this question, Jonas, is Whittington. I just want to give you a little more sustenance. So the number is 30.5 over on Underdog. 30.5 and 3.5 receptions is his prop. And just for fun, let's type in Keon Coleman. 36.5 yards is his prop. So they're right. They're side by side. So it's a great situation to be in. Jordan Whittington, not great situation to be in. Great question to ask. Jordan Whittington's the answer. Need to Dobbins, Monty, and Pickens. Give me Monty and Dobbins in PPR, brother. Best of luck, Dylan. Brady, Zabludilli, Juwan Jennings, Brian Thomas, or Akers. Give me Brian Thomas. Best of luck. Lucas, PPR pick 2, Pittman, Worthy, and Brian Thomas. This one I think is going to be a little bit tighter. I'm going Worthy, and I think the other two are going to be side by side. Pittman, Worthy. Actually, I was wrong. Worthy and Pittman are side by side. Thomas is a few spots below that, so we're going Worthy and Pittman here. Best of luck, Lucas, Worthy, and Pittman. Poor Dutch boy. Swift or Najee in the flex full point PPR. I'm going Najee. No, I'm not. I'm going Swift. Sorry. I don't know why I said Najee. Sometimes I read stuff in my brain, but then I say the opposite word. I'm going Swift here. Poor Dutch boy. Best of luck. I Ian's Cats. Thank you. Appreciate you for tapping in. PPR with Kittle out. Gil Munzo says Strange, Fant, Sanders, Kraft, Sauber. This is strange and it's not close. We're getting strange this Saturday. Sunday? We're getting strange this Sunday, and we're riding with Brenton Strange. He got sick last week, three catches for 65 yards, and he's going to continue to do that with a whole week of game planning with no Evan Ingram. All right, let's get this thing cooking here. Let's get going. We're still, what are we? We're 16 minutes behind. That's not bad at all. Last week we got like 45 minutes behind. We're cooking today with grease. Deontay or Javonte? Javonte. Deontay or Javonte? Javonte. PPR, Vikes for life 18. Let's go. Vikes win today. Let's get a skull here. PPR, give Goff, Adams, and Moss to get Josh Allen and JMO. I don't think so. I think I'm standing pat. I just messed up my camera. I think I'm standing pat. Vikes for life with Goff, Adams, and Moss. I think this is tantalizing. You want the best player. The best player here is Josh Allen. The second best player, I guess you could make an argument between JMO and Adams at this point in fantasy football. No, you know what? Give me Josh Allen. Give me the best player. I'm going against my whole compass here, and that's, you always take the best player. Josh Allen's the best player. Take him. Take Josh Allen and GMO. David Torres, great question. Vex for life. Appreciate you. Who to start deep league? Zeke, Gus, Bucky. Give me Bucky. Unfortunately, give me Bucky. Gus has been really good against the Steelers. 10 plus carries. He's always went north of 48 yards. He's had good output. Averaged more than 4.5 yards per carry. Most time more than 5 yards per carry against Pittsburgh, but different situation. I think Bucky has some explosive output against Denver today. Hollywoods, appreciates you for tapping in as well. Kevin K, Richardson or Carr? Going Richardson today. Got Neighbors in on flex over Dobbins. I think that's a good play as well. I think you're good here. Play Richardson and keep Neighbors in over Dobbins. Grant Whitcraft. Appreciate you always tapping in, brother. My favorite show of the week. Like and subscribe, everyone. As he says, dog, I need to sit one of these in a non-PPR league. Najee, Chuba, Amari, Deontay. Tell you what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to tell you to drop. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to tell you to bench Amari Cooper. But don't actually do it. Bench Deontay Johnson. Because if you talk down or ill of the Amari Cooper situation, we know this, over the course of his career, 17 targets, 27 yards for the first 2 weeks. You need to bench Amari Cooper. You just need to bench him, right? What I'm doing here is some reverse psychology for the fantasy gods. You need to bench Amari Cooper. That actually means bench Deontay Johnson. Hope you're tracking with what I'm saying here. We're witcrafting. We're witcrafting, not witchcrafting. We're witcrafting an Amari Cooper breakout this week by saying bench Amari Cooper. Wink, wink. Great question, Grant. Appreciate you always tapping in every single week. Ben, how many more weeks until we drop Deontay for and running back stash and higher upside wide receivers? Honestly, about 2 days. If we see that Deontay isn't getting targets from Andy Dalton, we're dropping him. If we see he gets 7+, 8+ targets this week, I'll hold him. That's about the answer that I have. Mark Cleveland trade offer Shakir for my Ridley. Keep Ridley. Need 2 full PPR. Higgins, Shakir, or Devin Singletary. Need 2 Higgins. This is Higgins and Shakir for sure. Higgins and Shakir, 100%. Best of luck. Jeremy, I appreciate you always tapping in, brother. Shout out to you. Ian's Cats, thank you. Appreciate you for tapping in. Robbie Desmond, Ladd, Jerry, Shakir, or Steele. Please pick one for my second flex. This is Ladd. This is Ladd every day of the week, twice on Sundays, 3 times on Mondays. Ladd, McConkey, and the Chargers as they head to Pittsburgh. They've been staying on the East Coast. They're going to go up there with a banged-up Josh Palmer, with the Quentin Johnston playing against Joey Porter Jr. This is a Ladd game. This is a Ladd 8+ target game here. I can feel it in my bones. Mark Cleveland, always appreciate the super chats. The rule is they always go to the front of the line. The problem is I've been going north and south on this entire chat. Ooh, I see another super chat here. Okay, we'll pop this one up afterwards. But Mark Cleveland, $1.99, trade Shakir for my Ridley. I like your Ridley. I think you continue to ride with your Ridley. I know we're going through a little bit of a slump here with this Tennessee offense with Levis, but it seems like Levis is taking control. The one thing I do always like about Levis, people are going to call me a donk for it or a homer for it, but the one thing I do know and like about Levis is his mentals. His mental game is very, very, very strong. He's not no disrespect to Bryce Young. He's not a guy that's going to kind of seem like he's going to put his tail between his legs. Levis is going to work and work and work to do the right thing. If he's going to go out, he's going to go out on his shield. He's going to go out like a Blake Bortles. He's going to go out like a Jameis Winston throwing 30 picks in a season. He's going to go out ripping that football, and that's only going to behoove Calvin Ridley. Josh Montgomery, shout out for the $5. Appreciate you, Josh, for tapping in. 1 PPR, I have Evans, Rice, need a wide receiver 3 and flex. Whittington, Jennings, Coleman, Deontay. Well, I guess we just answered this question. We're playing Deontay today. Found it. Need a wide receiver 3 and a flex. We're playing Whittington and Deontay Johnson. Best of luck, Josh Montgomery. Appreciate you for tapping in here. Now I got to scroll back up to the non-super chats. Dynasty Alex, Javonte, Deontay, Ladd, or Kyron start 2. Ladd and Kyron. Ladd and Kyron, please. Line them up, knock them down, Ladd and Kyron. We want 8 targets out of Ladd. We're going to get 15, 16 touches out of Kyron, something I feel much better about vis-a-vis than the other 2. Kyron and Williams, don't overthink it. Yes, great answer. Kyron and Williams, same player. Good morning, brother. Appreciate you, Snowman, for tapping in, as I always do. Anthony Ortiz, Jameson, Olave, Pickens, Pollard, half pick 2. JMO and Pollard, please. JMO and Pollard, please. Does the Savage Snowman start T. Higgins or Jaden Reed this week? The Savage Snowman starts T. Higgins this week. Love is sitting. Yes, Love is sitting. Jaden Reed's going to get his, extracurricular work in the running game and stuff like that, but we're going to go T. Higgins this week. Got to play T. Higgins this week, brother. Terrible matchup. Terrible defense for his matchup against Washington, as everybody in the world knows. Got to go T. Higgins. If he plays, we play. That's the rule. Got to put it on a shirt. He plays, we play. Robbie Desmond, Olave, and Pollard. Are you answering questions for me now? Okay. Sweet. Chat, please pick one for my second flex. Ladd. Stuck in Higgins. Let's get it, brother. Need rest of season help for wide receiver 4 or 5. No big deal, but should I drop Cortland Sutton and add Jalen Tolbert? Not quite ready to do that yet. Ferguson's back. We'll see what happens at this wide receiver position. I love Jalen Tolbert, but I'm not quite ready to drop Cortland Sutton yet. I want to give them another week or 2 with Bo Nix. He's a rookie, man. He's in his first couple games of his career. I know Josh Reynolds has been the leading, receiver or the alpha of this offense so far, but I got to give a couple more weeks to Sutton before I drop him for Jalen Tolbert. Should I bench Richardson for Jaden Daniels today? Well, I have Richardson lined up right now as my quarterback 6 and Daniels is my quarterback 9. Both have bottom 8 matchups on the RosterWatch matchup tool. You can find the matchup tool over at rosterwatch.com. You get a pro or a premium membership, and you can find that matchup tool yourself. They are pretty much back-to-back for us consensusly. I have Richardson ahead, and both Alex and Trashman have Daniels one singular spot ahead of Richardson. I think they're both fine plays. Both of them have sick rushing upside and ability. So I'm going to go ahead and ride with our boy A. Rich. Johnny Laser, appreciate you for answering all these people in the chat. You're doing good. Fresco, Deonta Foreman or Rico Dowdle? The rest of season. You are the man, Cody, from Player Profile to Roster Watch. Fresco, you're the realist. I appreciate you for tapping in and staying true to the colors. Fresco. Deontay Johnson's the answer here for the week. You should for the rest of the season. For this week, I'd go Deontay. For the rest of the season, I think I would go Rico. Yeah, brother. I think you go Rico here. Deontay's fine, but I just don't know what this looks like rest of season for Cleveland. I think we have a good idea that Dallas is a good football team. I know they got swamp donkey last week, but I think they're going to bounce back and they're going to be just fine. Roll with Rico here. He's going to be the last man standing in this backfield. Hollywood rules. Roster Watch is the best. Need 2 for full PPR flex spots. Sutton, Javonte, X, Worthy, Adam Thielen, Jennings, Thank you. Thank you, Hollywood Rules, for tapping in here. Need 2 for full PPR flex. Sutton, Javonte, Worthy, Thielen, Jennings. We're going Worthy here. And then the other one comes down to Javonte and I think it's Javonte and Jennings. Let me look here. Yeah, it's Javonte by about a dozen. Javonte and Xavier Worthy here. Best of luck, Hollywood Rules. Appreciate you tapping in here. Grant Whitcraft, I'm tracking, man. Anything to keep the fantasy gods happy. Exactly. Bench Amari Cooper. Bench him. We don't want to play him. Bench him. All right, Don. Don, need 2 standard league. Collins, Rice, Ayuk. I tell you what, Ayuk does not look right now. But in this game, there's nothing left. There's no Kittle. There's no Debo. There's no McCaffrey. Ayuk's got to either shit or get off the pot today. Rice is a top 10 play. Nico's a consensus top 15 play. I tend to not want to fade this Ayuk thing, but as far as staying true to the rankings and true to the process, the process tells us to stay away from Ayuk this week and go Nico and Rice. It doesn't tell us to stay away from Ayuk this week. It just tells us to stay away in this situation. Your roster is nice. Nico, Rice, and Ayuk is a good place to be. It's just you can't play Ayuk over those 2 guys. You just can't, based on what we've seen so far. Appreciate you, Don. Justin Jock says Shakir, Sutton, or Steele. Pick 1 in PPR. Give me Shakir. Brother. Best of luck. Pick 1, Shakir. See, Johnny Laser, you failed. You're wrong. You tried to answer all the questions ahead of me. You're wrong. You can't pick 2 guys. You have to pick 1. It's Shakir. Johnny. Gotcha. Kyle Gregory, PPR, pick 1, please. Brian Robinson, Dobbins, Aaron Jones, or Ford. Brian Robinson, Dobbins, Jones, or Ford. Pick 1 in PPR. I believe this is going to end up being Brian Robinson day for me here. Let me double check. Brian Robinson is going to be running back 21. Dobbins, Jones, and Ford. Yep. Dobbins. Right there. Yeah, Brian Robinson, running back 21. That's my guy out of these 4. Best of luck, Kyle Gregory. I see people in the chat. Okay, so Johnny says Dobbins. I think they're close. I have them 4 spots apart. Running back 21 and 25. Dobbins is fine. This Pittsburgh defense is a tough matchup. I think Gus is going to get more run than people expect today. I don't think you're wrong, but I'm going to go with Brian Robinson. Give me the guarantee here with the Washington Commandos offense that stinks, but Brian Robinson looks fine. Diggs or Waddle here. Give me Diggs every day. Redemption game. Andrews or Adunze in flex. I'm going Andrews here. Sounds maniacal to put your tight end in flex, but I'm doing it. Mark Andrews is my guy here this week. Fresco, $5. Appreciate you, brother, for dropping the $5 nugget here. 5. I don't know. You can ask another question. I'll pop it up here. I don't know what 5 means, though. Gooner Boy, you can't spell for shit. Appreciate you, though, for tapping in. Dr. Smooth, standard Ford, Pickens, Jay Williams, BT Jr., start 1 in flex. Well, Pickens and Ford aren't in the question. For me, it's BT and JMO, and I'm pretty damn sure I have JMO 6 or 7 spots ahead of him. JMO, wide receiver 19. Brian Thomas, yeah, right there. End of the low 29s, high 31. So it's about 13 spots total. So we're going to go Jameson Williams here. Vikings bring a lot of blitzes. Yeah. Gooner Boy, pick 2, half PPR. Cam Akers, Zamir, and JSN. I'm going with JSN and Cam Akers here, Gooner Boy. Best of luck. Double down on this JSN thing. Let's see this thing happen again. I'm not sure it's going to obviously quite be to this extent, but I do think this is a great matchup for JSN to double back with a 10-plus target game. Thoughts on why Pitts is not a target earner this season? OC still trying to figure out how to use Pitts. How would they use Pitts? Thanks again for answering the question. Not that hard. It's not that hard to explain. I mean, they've been using Ray McLeod and Darnell Mooney. They need to be utilizing Kyle Pitts across the formation in multiple spots. Drake London is a guy that can work in the slot as well. They just need to be – this comes down to really, I think, just comes down to purely Kirk Cousins and the connection conversation, right? He's only been there for 6 months. Like it comes down to the connection, and in-game reps are the most important for this type of a situation. So I think it's going to continue to build as the season goes on. The matchups get tough. Like this week against Kansas City, you might not see much growth, but I do think it's going to monumentally happen as the year goes on, because Kirk Cousins is, as much of a dork as he is, a very true pros pro. I'm not worried about Pitts. I do think it's going to continue to come around much different than it has the last couple of years. We're almost getting there here. I'm going to double check for supers here. Where did our guy go that Fresco, you dropped 5 for somebody. You just said 5. If you got something, drop it in here. Let me know. Krana Shash. Sorry if I butchered that. Krana Shah. Flex 2, Zamir, Demarcus Robinson, Juwan Jennings, Isaiah Likely, or Shakir. You're going Demarcus Robinson here today, and for me, it comes down to Zamir and Isaiah Likely, and I'm just going to go with the carries. I think this is a top 5 matchup against running backs, rushing yard-wise against Carolina Panthers, so we're going to go Zamir and Demarcus Robinson. Krana, appreciate you. Gooner Boy, pick 2 half PPR, Javonte Cooper Hubbard. I think Javonte and Hubbard are literally, I don't think we've got a Javonte Hubbard question yet. Javonte, running back 30. Hubbard, running back 31. Play Javonte. Play Javonte. And then bench Amari Cooper. But don't play him. Bench Amari Cooper. And play Javonte Williams. Evan, go. Tank Dell or T. Higgins need the points this week. T. Higgins, 100%er. T. Higgins, 100%er. We need a touchdown and 60 yards out of T. Higgins this week. Akers or Dobbins? Akers for me is, let's see here, 23. Dobbins is 17. I just adjusted them after a minute ago. I'm going to go Dobbins here. Gosh. The Dobbins thing is just I'm going to put Akers up a couple spots here. And I'm actually going to bring Dobbins down a couple. They're going to be right side by side now. 19 and 21. Dobbins is going to be 19. Akers is going to be 21. Appreciate you. Great question, Dr. Smooth. Gooner Boy, Watson or Trevor Lawrence? Watson or Trevor Lawrence? This is a bad situation to be in for yourself. I apologize for it, but you're going to go ahead and have to play Trevor Lawrence. I do think that we're going to get a little bit of something. We do get the Gabe Davis revenge game. He's going back. We got Brian Thomas Jr. on the brink. Christian Kirk needs a get right game. I mean, what better than to ask for a Trevor Lawrence 300-yard game than this week right now in Buffalo? Let's do it. Let's do it, Gooner Boy. Let's do it. Joe Egan, how would you start? Hey, would you start Ford versus the Giants today or Aaron Jones against the Texans? I'm going Aaron Jones against the Texans. In a league that pays out bonus money for starting a perfect lineup, 0.5 PPR, start 10. Rashad or Godwin? Godwin. That's a very cool league payout style. You should explain this to me. I'm assuming this is MFL, because MFL I know grades like a 90%, 95%. I would love to hear more. If you DM me at Cody Carpentier, I'd love to hear the rules behind the bonus pay for starting a perfect lineup, because I kind of like to put this into my league. I like this idea. Badass idea. Grant Whitcraft, and I'm playing Godwin this week in this situation. There you go. There we go. Again, reverse psychology with the fantasy gods. Bench Amari Cooper today. Bench him. It's a joke, but bench him. Obviously. Godwin, yes. Ken says Carr or Daniels. They got to play Daniels, man. Got to play Daniels. I think this regresses to the mean at some point with Carr. I just don't want to get caught holding the bag. I think he's going to be really good and stay really good. He's just playing otherworldly right now. Like if the season ended after 2 weeks, he's the MVP and it's not close. Like it's a unanimous vote for MVP for Derek Carr after 2 weeks. Again, I just don't think it's sustainable. Daniels, the rushing and the growth on offense and getting Terry McLaurin unlocked is a growing stance here. So this week I love Daniels. Most weeks I'm going to love Daniels here. I'm all in on Charbonnet this week. Well, I apologize for you. I feel bad. I hope you grieve well. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have some soup at the end of the night after this Charbonnet thing unfolds. You're fake 617. No, you are. 12-team Superflex, half PPR, half tight end, premium start 9 for a contender here. Would you start Ladd over Brian Robinson, DJ Moore, or Andrews? Or would you send a late first for Mike Evans and start him over one of them? I would not send a late first for Mike Evans. He's too old in Dynasty for me to trade for. And I mean, if you're a contender, I get that. But I also like where your roster's at. I think you're fine. I think Ladd's low-key a better play than Evans is this week. I would start Ladd over. Golly, got a yawn out of me. I would start Ladd over Brian Robinson. Not DJ, not Andrews. I would start Ladd over Brian Robinson, though. Good question. You're fake. I like how you detailed that. Great question. Appreciate you. RB2 challenge, PPR, P. Ryan or Hubbard. Chandler and Spears lurking in waivers as well. Man, I don't know how Chandler's on the freaking waivers. I don't get that. I never get that. I don't get it. I don't get how Chandler's on the waivers. I don't want to go on a soapbox on this one or anything, but it doesn't make any sense that the guy's a doppelganger to Aaron Jones, and Aaron Jones, who's shown over his career, he gets hurt, that a doppelganger to Aaron Jones would be available on the waiver wire when the guy's getting work during the season. It makes negative sense to me, but any league I'm in, he's rostered because of that reason. Jordan Mason, Gibbs, or Charbonnet in PPR need to bench Charbonnet. What are we doing here? I've said this 8 times on the show. Bench Charbonnet. This is going to be one that comes back and probably bites me in the dick, and I don't really care. Bench Charbonnet. Play Mason against the Rams. Play Gibbs against the Cardinals. Bench Charbonnet. Don't care. Bench him. He literally looks like A.J. Dillon running the football. Yes, there's receiving game work there. Yes, 5 targets, 5 receptions, 26 yards. You can have it. I don't see it in the running game right now. What's going on, brother? Hey, man, Waddle and Rashad for Garrett Wilson and Jalen Warren. Which side do you like more? I like the Garrett Wilson side. 100%. I want the best player. London or Waddle? Give me London. Yo, you running Ayuk or Godwin today? Wide receiver 2. We're running Godwin, and we're sprinting. We're sprinting with Godwin today. McLaurin or Deontay? Give me McLaurin. Disco Stu, appreciate you as well. We got to just ride with McLaurin here. This thing's got to be unlocked one of these days, and I trust Jaden Daniels to unlock him more than I do about this entire Carolina offense working. Pick 2, Marv, Neighbors, and Rice. Marvin Rice, bench Neighbors. Marvin Rice is the answer. Carson Steele or Rico Dowdle in full PPR. Puke in my throat, but play Carson Steele. These nuts. Can you only start one? And Alec Pierce, Khalil Shakir, Amari Cooper, Keon Coleman, Allen is my quarterback. Got to be Amari Cooper, huh? Costa, full PPR, Akers or Worthy? Give me Worthy. Dr. Smooth, Pickens, Neighbors, or Dell? You're going Neighbors here. Need 2. You're going Neighbors and Pickens here. These nuts. I already answered that question. Half PPR, Warren, Akers, or Madison? Going Akers here. Big Meech again. Ridley or Diggs? Going Diggs here in Minnesota. Juan Pena, who for my wide receiver 1 and 2, running back 2, and flex. Jesus Christ, man. You got 700 players listed here. DJ Moore, Alec Pierce, Calvin Ridley, Tank, or Jerry Jeudy. You're playing DJ Moore. You're playing Josh Jacobs. You're playing Kyron. And you're playing Ridley. DJ Moore, Ridley, Kyron, Josh Jacobs. You're welcome. Big Meech, Carr or Purdy? Carr. Higgins or Shakir or Chuba? Higgins. For sure Higgins here. If you can't tell, I'm in rapid fire mode as we approach the hour mark here. I'm not going to stay for an hour and a half tonight. I got family in town. We got to get out, get moving, get going. Brock Bowers or Sam Laporta. Brock Bowers, top 3 option this week. We love us some Brock Bowers at RosterWatch. Ben, we appreciate you for tapping in. K-Quicks, redraft league, full PPR, likely or Ertz. I'm likely playing likely. Well, bang. Hey, Cody, in full PPR, got to pick 2 between Flowers, London, and Pickens. You're playing Flowers and London. Wall bang. I like your choo-choo train in the old title there. Christian Watson or Roma Dunze. This is a Dunze, and again, it's not close. Appreciate JB for tapping in. Appreciate you. You're for the people. My number one rule is every question is always answered. I know some shows out there are fugazi. They call themselves a start-sit show, and they don't answer every question. That is complete fugazi nuggets. So stay out of here with that shit. Carr or Baker in 2 leagues, 4 points and 6 points passing touchdowns. Honestly, I'm going Baker today over Carr. I know Carr's been fantastic, but I'm going Baker today over Carr. Ty Chandler or Rico Dowdle, rest of season. Ty Chandler. Love me some Ty Chandler. Love the Vikings offense. No homerism attached, but love the Vikings offense for a guy like Chandler, who's a doppelganger, like I said, to Aaron Jones. Max, Charbonnet, or Swift are going Swift. Love this one here. You're going Swift here. JP says JSN or Christian Kirk. We have not seen it from Christian Kirk yet. We just haven't. We saw it last week from JSN, so I'm going to ride with what we know and what we saw in JSN. Roach, Cheetah, YouTube. McConkey, Juwan Jennings, Gabe Davis, Piran, or Bucky Irving. We're going McConkey here. Very clearly McConkey. Best of luck, Roach. Sorry, I'm working. Ford or Jones versus Texans. Aaron Jones versus the Texans, please. Line them up, knock them down. All right, we're approaching the final questions here. Mooney, Cooks, or Whittington, a full PPR. Give me Whittington today against the 49ers in that slot for Matthew Stafford. Give me a 7 for 53 and a touchdown rushing for Jordan Whittington today. Steve-O, Amari Cooper or Cam Akers in my flex. You're benching Amari Cooper. Wink, wink. Alec Pierce, Najee, Quentin Johnston, Gus Edwards. Your spelling is phenomenal here today. Adrian Betterton. Alec Pierce, Najee, Quentin Johnston, Gus Edwards, DeAndre Hopkins. To be honest with you, you're starting 2. You're starting Najee and you're starting Alec Pierce. That is painful. Best of luck. Steve, appreciate you for tapping in. Shaheed or Coleman, you already answered your own question. You know that's Shaheed. Come on, brother. Ron Cloth, should I drop Freiermuth or McLaughlin for Tank Bigsby? All are bench spots. If you have a starting tight end ahead of Freiermuth, if you have a very dependable one, I would drop Freiermuth for him, but I love Freiermuth. I don't think you can drop either one of these guys. Don't do that. Just leave Tank alone. Leave him out. Big Meech. Cody is the GOAT. Sorry, I missed the prior 2 weeks. Big Meech, I didn't do week 1. I was on the road. So I appreciate you for tapping in this week. We'll be back every single week, 9 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Central. Golly, these questions are just piling in here. Let's rapid fire here. I know I've been going quick. Let's go super quick. Do you think trading McLaurin for Amari Cooper is worth it? No. Fields or Deshaun Watson? Give me Fields. Moss or Ford? Give me Moss. So sorry. Can you please run mine back one more time? Ford or Jones versus Texans? Sorry, I'm working. You're good, brother. Aaron Jones. Jared Goff or Baker Mayfield? Jared Goff is a number 5 quarterback for me this week. Dr. Smooth, Dell Pollard, Ford or Rashad White. Need 1 in PPR. I love the show. First Sunday morning show this year. Appreciate you, Dr. Smooth, for tapping in right there. Need 1 in PPR. I'm going Tony Pollard today. Jason Liao. Start, sit, help, full PPR. Pat Freiermuth, Ertz, or Strange at tight end. Give me Freiermuth, Jennings, Carson, Naylor at flex. So you're going Freiermuth and Naylor. Love Naylor today for the Vikings to double down what he did last week. Nothing wrong with the soup. Good luck. All appreciate you. Appreciate you, John. Tapping in. Any reservation about starting Stroud, Diggs, and Akers on the same team? No, because I think this is going to be the highest scoring game of the day in Houston and Minnesota. Herbert, Minshew, or Jennings? Herbert, Pittman, or Coleman? Pittman. Come on, guys. Come on. That's not even a question. Worthy or Pickens? Worthy. Give me Worthy today. Again, I think the Chiefs bounce back to the old Chiefs. Pittman or Waddle? Give me Pittman. Again, I can't believe I'm more on. I mean, I've said Pittman's name like 6 times in the last 3 minutes. So good on you guys. No question. Best ball on call. Click that like button. Click subscribe. Tune in. Tap in every single Sunday, 9 a.m. There's no way I skipped over your question, Joe Justice. There's a 0% chance I skipped over your question. No way in hell. 12-team PPR, need to pick 4. I didn't do this one? If I skip this, I apologize. I don't know. I just answered like 300 questions in an hour. So I apologize if I didn't. Need to pick 4. Cooper, Dell, Olave, MHJ, Reed, Worthy. This is a sick question. I did not answer it. Thank you for catching me. I apologize. Reed, Worthy, MHJ, and Olave. Reed, Worthy, MHJ, and Olave. I'm going to double check one thing. Yep, I'm right there. And am I right here? And I'm right there. Reed, MHJ, Worthy, and Olave. Joe Justice, the commenter of the day. I apologize for missing your question. That's the number 1 rule. We're here. We got through it. Oh my gosh. 10 more questions jumped in here. Let's do it. Yo, what up? Mixing out. Need to flex. Swift, Shaheed, Steele, Pittman. Give me Shaheed, brother. Come on. What are we doing here? This guy's averaging 60-yard touchdowns every single week. In this offense, if you guys trust Carr, you got to trust Shaheed in this thing. Wallbang, Kyler, or Mahomes this week. Man, Kyler is right there. Kyler's right there. I got Mahomes as quarterback 3 this week. Kyler as quarterback 4. So they're literally back-to-back. I'm going to ride with Mahomes, though. What do you think about Waddle, Reed, Judy, Kirk start 2? I'm starting Waddle and Reed this week. Robert Perez, thank you. Has 10 points. How is that not a question? Herbert, Minshew, and Juwan Jennings. I don't think I said your question's not a question. I think I said Pittman's not a question. Pittman and Coleman's not a question, Adam. I wasn't hammering this one. I said Herbert, but I was talking about Jim being not a question. Sorry you took it that way. Half PPR, Cam Akers, D-Hop, or P-Ryan. Give me Cam Akers. Appreciate you, Joe Justice, tapping in here. Akers. Curly Acres for sure. I don't know what the hell Luke's talking about, but I know what I'm talking about, and I'm talking about you guys dropping questions in. I appreciate you guys tapping in every single show. Look at that. We got another one popping in. BTJ, Najee, J with Acres. Everybody knows the answer here. Down 0-2, must win this week. You got to play Brian Thomas Jr., and you got to play Jordan Whittington. Do the damn thing. Brian Thomas Jr., Jordan Whittington, Josh Trost. Appreciate you guys tapping in here. Thank you, Jamie Pirog, for always enjoying a full Sunday. Mike, Waddle, or Higgins? The people in the chat already know this answer. Appreciate you jumping in, though, and asking it. It's T. Higgins today. If he plays, we play. Would you start Higgins over Cooper this week? If he play, we play. You're starting T. Higgins. You're doing the damn thing. Again, thank you guys for tapping in. This has been a great hour and 10 minutes of Roster Watch. Click the like button, click subscribe. If you have more questions, go over to rosterwatch.com today, become a pro or premium member, and drop your questions in the blog. Answered by Alex, Byron, Trashman, and yours truly up until kickoff. Appreciate you, love you, and we'll see you.